Government can and must provide opportunity, not smother it. Foster productivity, not stifle it. It is time to reawaken this industrial giant, to get government back within its means, and to lighten our punitive tax burden. And these will be our first priorities, and on these principles there will be no compromise.
I feel betrayed by the government, but at the same time, I feel betrayed by the white-collar worker. In Dundalk, there is no work anymore. I mean, you used to have Western Electric, you used to have General Motors. I mean, the workforce in Dundalk, I mean, every single person was a blue-collar worker. And the government took that all away from us, is basically where it comes at. We came up with NAFTA. Now we're going to start all our companies move to Mexico to make their product. I mean, the government's at fault for all this. They went and put a lower tax on imports. So, of course, the guy building a new building is going to order his materials from overseas. He's getting it cheaper. Why would he be a dummy and order from America?
We cannot stop global change. We cannot repeal the international economic competition that is everywhere. We can only harness the energy to our benefit. Now we must recognize that the only way for a wealthy nation to grow richer is to export, to simply find new customers for the products and services it makes. That, my fellow Americans, is the decision the Congress made when they voted to ratify NAFTA.
This is all the old tin mills. They're all. This one, they're still operating, but it's not much going on there.
A great deal of the wealth of this community in the post-war period, meaning post-World War II, was based in Bethlehem Steel, Sparrows Point Steelworks, which was founded in 1887. The jobs at that mill were great working-class union jobs. The United Steelworkers of America was voted into the mill in 1941, and once the union was voted in, you know, in the post-war period, you saw wages really rise. You know, there were a series of post-war strikes that won great benefits for steelworkers. Steelworkers had fought for, 60 or more years for things like, vacation days and seniority and grievance procedures, and all of those things finally were won in the post-war period, and this became a very prosperous community. But beginning in the late 70s, that prosperity started to trickle away with competition from foreign steelmakers, which cut into Bethlehem's market share, and layoffs and cutbacks, and just a long, slow bleeding of jobs. At that mill, there were once about 36,000 people working on site. Today, only 2,000, and that's after Bethlehem's bankruptcy in 2001.
Business is bad. This yard normally should be full.
Do you remember the last time this yard was full?
10 years ago.
My husband decided that he was going to retire. The company said, we're going to give you a $400 bonus per month if you leave, because they were eliminating the crane millwright gangs, and that's what he was, a crane millwright. So, of course, as his wife, I had to go to the pension meeting with him. And the first thing he asked was, is the pension at Bethlehem Steel secure? And not only, everyone in that room told him he would never ever have anything to worry about, that the pension was stable. 7 months later was when, after he retired, is when the announcement was made, we are going bankrupt. My husband was getting about $3,200 a month, and he went down to $1,500. He lost his life insurance, he lost his health insurance.
Up and stuff. This old building right here.
Oh, so this is where you would come to get employed,
To get employed, yep. That's it.
Well, we're standing here in sort of Dundalk, Ground Zero, the original town square that was built by the Bethlehem Steel Corporation in April 1918. As you can see, though, you know, this little shopping strip, which kind of used to be once pretty grand, has gotten a little down at the heels. Obviously, there's a dollar store at the old movie theater. There's like a nail place, and it's quite a bit different than it was when I was growing up. I know that some of the people that I've talked to have talked about the fact that sometimes there's a growing homeless population in Dundalk, and since the mill jobs sort of disappeared in the beginning in the 1980s, the community is not as prosperous as it once was, and is struggling with a lot of issues that a lot of post-industrial communities are struggling with: joblessness, sort of an uptick in crime and drug activity. And that makes me sad because I grew up here and it was just such a fabulous place to grow up. You worked at the shipyard for 10 years?
No, I've done it for about 10 years, yeah.
What did you do at the shipyard?
I was, let's see, what you call, I was first class burner.
First class what?
Burner, pipe burner.
Burner, first class pipe burner. So you think people in the community are suffering because of the jobs are gone?
No, they are. They are. I ain't lying. Look at all the people out here who's homeless. They ain't got no job, can't get no work.
Are you homeless yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you live in the park basically?
I live wherever I lay my head. And I lay it down a lot some places.
The domino effect in Bethlehem Steel, it went down more and more and more and more and became more and more drastic. So people were losing their homes, the stores were losing business. In Dundalk itself, shut down movies, department stores, restaurants. I mean, the domino effect is what is still happening today. Because without people in your community, work, live, and play in Dundalk used to be the motto. And it's just really, really has gone downhill. Thank goodness we had that Renaissance project going on, and they picked Dundalk to be the one to rebuild Dundalk.
We are working to attract a more economically diverse population back to the Dundalk community. We are focusing on buying and renovating houses in the area, some of which were built in like 1920, and so they need a lot of systems upgrades. We also offer homeowner grants to incentivize existing residents to improve their properties with things like green building features that are more energy efficient, kind of turning its industrial image on its head a little bit by making people think of Dundalk and think of it being a sustainable green, forward-thinking community. We've got this wonderful small town feel and excellent big city access.
Okay, that sign there, was part of a 25-foot sign, and it was above the Skin Pass Mill. It said Skin Pass Mill and had the emblem in the middle. And the day that they announced to us the Bethlehem Steel went bankrupt, I said, I'm going to get that sign. Well, I had no idea what I would have to go through. So I had to climb on top of the mill. It was me and another gentleman, Jeff Berger, and we took a screwdriver and had to pop out the rivets. And it came down in 3 pieces. And I cut out the part for Bethlehem Steel because Bethlehem Steel might not remember me, but I'm going to remember them for the rest of my life.